Making a video, yay. Similar subject to what the modern mystic is talking about here. He started a free will discussion and even titled it with a little 1A. I like that. But maybe A1 instead. But anyway, yeah. So the whole ordering of the conversation is sort of more important than the free will part, even to me. Just because we've been through this free will thing. But it's the idea of how do you debate this stuff so you don't get redundant and go over the same material, and that gets to Darwin's hamster. Just because he started with this idea of premises, and that's what we got to stay with, the premises and argue the premises, and then that's more logical. And you got something called a rational discussion. Sorry, I just woke up. Allergies, a little slurry. Anyway, yeah. That's why I was thinking about free will, is because I wasn't sleeping very well. So anyway, so I was thinking about the whole format of debate and the idea of subjects, and so instead of groups on my website, I think I'll have something called subjects, and that's what you'll belong to as a subject, and you'll argue that subject and the premises in that subject. I haven't figured out how to isolate premises yet, but I'm thinking almost of taking control of the titles of videos and obliging them to be like, where you either for it or against it, and so on. Alright, so anyway, the general subject of free will, even the fact that I say something like there's no such thing as free will, that would be now a premise. Even though it's a conclusion, it's now a premise, in my opinion, for other arguments, where I would use that argument, no such thing as free will, as and then I would make the point, let's say if somebody counter-argued, well, if that's true, then we can't punish criminals, and I could argue, well, punishing criminals doesn't have really anything to do with punishing them for the sake of punishing them. It has to do with the fact that we do believe in cause and effect, and we believe if we have a cause, like deterrence, we will have an effect, which is less crime. So we punish criminals not because it's a good idea, beyond the fact that it deters future crime, and that's its effect, and that's a good. It's more than just a good. It's a necessary for civilization, and so you are free to be sympathetic for criminals in that, they really couldn't help it, theoretically. But that sympathy can't destroy the idea that you have to have something called deterrence, and the only way to deter crime is to actually harm the people that commit it, even if they are just dumb or insane or stupid. It's just the catch of the thing. Which is another premise, the catch of the thing. It's the way it is. That's the now another premise, that there are things and that's the way they are. And it's not good, it's just the way it is. That you have to punish dumb people to prevent future stupidity. Yeah, you have to punish stupidity, or stupidity takes over. So anyway, but back to the other premises of free will. Cause and effect. That would be something I'm defending here. That's a premise. That it's a cause and effect universe. There's no room for anything called freedom. And I'd even argue another premise, which is freedom is a bullshit word. That there's no such thing as freedom. We only use the word because of we're so imprisoned by so much psychology and environmental circumstance that anything that looks like less restriction we call freedom. So anytime we're let out of the big cage or the little cage, we think we're free, even though we're still in another cage. It's just cages inside of cages inside of cages, and we open one cage door and we think, we're free. No, we're not really free. We're just free from a cage, free from a deterrence, free from a circumstance, free from a cause that was affecting us. That's what we can be free of. Alright, so going further, Nick is being really, what's the term he uses for this stuff? Damn, see, it's been so long since we made a video. It's not wishy-washy, it's not, there, now. This is the term he uses. Well, anyway, he's being that. He's just being kind of, look, from the sock to my, shiny top. I don't, where's the will thing? But it's not even so much will. See, so when we say free will, okay, here's another premise. That the concept of free choice is very similar to the concept of free will. And so when we're talking about will, what we're really talking about is like we have some sort of instrument inside of us that wills something to happen through choosing between alternatives. It just doesn't will it by saying, you know, you know, hair grow on Mystic's head. I will it. Yeah, no. We understand that we can't just make stuff happen by thinking it. That we actually have to act. And the way we act is through somehow we're making choices. And that concept, though, is kind of broken. It only looks like choices because we're not seeing where the decision's being made. Because the decision's made in the dark space, the space we can't see. We only see, another premise, that our consciousness is a veneer. It's just a thin plane. And our will shoots through it. What we choose, what we decided, goes through it. So I decided to say what we decided goes through it. That was the sentence my brain decided to say. But I didn't really choose it, did I? The thing that's in the plane, we're only an I for that moment you go through that little conscious plane. The rest of the time you're a brain that just shoots crap into the eye. Shoots crap into the veneer, into the membrane, that shoots through the membrane of your consciousness. So think about like a cell with a membrane. And all you do is you're inside the cell, all these choices, all these decisions are made, and you're not aware of it until it shoots through that little thin membrane holding the thing together, and it's called your consciousness. But all these sentences, I did not compose them. I. This conscious part of me did not make the sentence. It was made by brain programs running inside my brain, ideas, associations. So this is one of my mushier premises. So I'm not even going to I won't call this a premise. But yes, that there's more than one program running in your brain. That each one of your personalities, they are a reflection of a program that runs, and that these different programs are running, and it is the agreement or disagreement among them. They vote essentially on what your will be. So when you get enough of the programs to migrate to an idea, find association or networking in that idea gets stronger and stronger as they're all going in that same direction. And there's very few of the little devils and little angels on your shoulder kind of idea. Well, if they all migrate over to one side or they migrate to the other side, those choices become obvious and easy, and say, oh, that was no problem. That was an easy choice. And when they're all kind of helter-skelter, wishy-washy, whatever, whim-wham, whatever the term he uses is, when they're a little bit not focused, then they're just scattering about, and you're saying, well, how the hell do I make a choice in this environment? I might as well flip a coin, because it just doesn't seem like there's any programs that are saying one thing or another. And so that's the example where I use something like jumping into the cold water of a swimming pool or something, where you want to do it, you want to get it done, blah, 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 but you're apprehensive, so you have all these competing programs, competing ideas running around in your head, and you have to wait for them to coalesce and say, okay, I dulled this one, I seduced this one to the dark side, or seduced this one to the light side, and I finally get enough on one side or the other to say either go home or jump in the fucking water. And decisions are made the same way, is that we don't really make them, we're just waiting for them. We, the conscious being. The brain is always doing its thing, billions of neurons, electricity flying all over the fucking place, lots of gears grinding, but none of it's choice. It's all like one of those, those things where they have like, this falls down on a teeter-totter, and then the ball rolls down, it hits the piano, and then the piano keys, and then it rolls a bowling ball, and then it gets a strike, and then it hits a whammer, and, you know, our brain is just doing this cause and effect thing. It's just doing this cycle of domino flipping. So there's no freedom in there. You'll do what you're going to do because of the exposure you've had in your life, through what you've collected in terms of all these little whim bams that bang into each other. You know, this hits the pill bottle, and that spills the stuff, and the stuff hits the Sharpie, and the Sharpie bounces off the... So these are all concepts that you've collected through your life. You collect a bunch of junk inside of your psychology, and that junk whim bam, 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 bam bounces all over the friggin' place, and the end result is, you know, the final one, yeah, the thing flips up and lights the fuse, and the bomb blows up, and you decide to go to the bathroom, you know, now instead of later. But yeah, there's just no choice in it. It's all this crap inside of your head, these ideas and concepts and associations. They're reflexes, essentially. That's not like the whole cascade of cause and effect kind of scenario. It's just a bunch of reflexes. This hits that, that hits that, that causes this. That's all that's going on here. And from our perspective, blind to all the bing bang, wing jam, flam flam, of course it looks like there's something got chosen because there's an end result. But it really didn't get chosen. There really is a whole cascade of cascading cascades that decided it. So that's essentially the premise. And that even if there was something that was influencing all that rink bank, bing, bing, bonk, bonk, you know, the whole pinball-y thing, even if there was something in there you could influence and say, I'm going to be free willing on it. How exactly would the free will do that? I mean, how would a random thing wouldn't create freedom? It would just create chaos. So instead of having like deliberate things that my brain said, analyze this, figure it out, is it worth putting in your brain? Okay, it's pretty blue, put it in your brain. You know, instead of analyzing it, all of a sudden you just throw shit in your brain, and just to screw it up, you know, like just throw dog shit in there and slip on it and fall down and die. I mean, why would you do that? You wouldn't do that. And just like you wouldn't want somebody just poking their finger in your pinball machine and interfering with the flippers and disturbing the arrangement. Because your brain is an arrangement. It is a little bit filtered. And so there'd be no point in breaking the filtering by having something poke in there called freedom. That wouldn't be freedom. That would just be chaos. So chaos is not freedom. Yeah, that's another premise. So a big pile of premises in there. Yeah, I mean, I won't go on forever. But yeah, I mean, free will is a good subject for framing conversation about subjects in general. Because it has all the crap in it. I mean, it has all the wishy-washy language if you're not careful. Like I said, we just use words like free. We throw it out there like, oh yeah, that word has a definition. No, it does not. I mean, its definition is its lack of encumbrance. Okay, that's its definition. So now you're stuck with this word encumbrance. Now you're stuck with this word unfree. And the unfreeing words are things like responsibility and obligation and physical reality. And, you know, these are all the gravity. These are all the encumbrances that deny us this thing we call freedom, reality. You know, this is not a, you know, that's the word. That's the game. It's about words. And so this conversation, this subject just really does show the difference between somebody who wants to talk about reality and somebody who wants to just play word games and pretend that those words mean something and pretend that they're talking about reality when they're really just talking about a bullshit fake world they're inventing in their own little deluded psychology. Yeah. So the idea of choice is bullshit. You don't go ahead, show me one. You know what I mean? Put one of like get one of the, you know, give me a videotape of a choice. Just doesn't happen. It just doesn't. I mean, a free choice. Just that. No, there's only a cause and effect choice. You either got the I mean, there's a program in my head that says kitty cute, kitty sensitive, kitty vulnerable. There's just no way I can make the choice to put kitty in boiling water and eat kitty. It just can't happen. It's not a free. It's not among the choices anymore. And the only possible way it can be made a choice is you have to tell me millions of cute kitty die if I don't put one cute kitty in pot of boiling water and eat it. So until that comes up, until there's some justifying reason, like I'm going to prove for all time that there's no free will. I mean, if I guess I could do that by boiling one cat, well, maybe I would do it. But I'm just saying, just to end the wasted time on that one dumb subject so we can get to the important subject, which is there's no reason to live. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's all about what ideas are in your head. And some people, unfortunately, don't have shit in there. They haven't collected anything. They got some bottles of liquor in their head, and they got, they got some want, some resentments, some hate, but they don't have anything, nothing really clever or good in there. It's just all crap. Fist and poop and hurt and pain and ignorance, and that's all they got. And so, yeah, they make dumb choices. Their brain stupidly decides to do stupid things. Yeah, I think I've killed the subject. I mean, just totally killed it. So anyway, yeah, argue that, fuckers. So anyway, but yeah, the whole idea is that these are we've got to somehow be able to, if you're going to argue something, you have to argue one of these premises in here, and I have to figure out some way to highlight premises in the title or in the description or in how videos are connected, but the idea is to connect them. So since I'm reacting to 1A, I will call my video 2B. No, I'll call it 1B because it's the first video. It's the first level of the conversation, and hopefully it levels up into a pyramid, and at the top will be the perfect video that sums it all up, or something like that. Sums up all the arguments and how the ones on that side are complete shit and the ones that were there are completely fantastic. And there's just no way the programs could be indecisive. They're all going to vote for that side of the argument because that side of the argument's just too strong. That's the idea. All right. So I think I've hit it kind of a long way. It's free to go over the fence and be called a home run. I think it's whatever. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the word he uses. And I can't. And it's really the losing your memory thing is really irritating. Especially when I'm really not old enough to be doing that. I mean, I always had names, and we're always a little mushy for me, so I'm not too worried. Yeah, I'm waiting for the programs to decide to hit the button. Yeah, it's funny. I have to wait for them to agree. It's time to hit the button. And they just haven't quite gotten there yet. Alright. Now that I've mentioned it, they're all feeling kind of embarrassed because a few of the programs fell asleep. And they didn't know we gotta press the button. Oh, okay. They didn't know they had to show up for that vote. So they're casting their vote now. They're all hungover though. Alright, just hit the damn button.